Hare Krishna, well raisers, Sabina and Roger here. Let's read chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God by Swami Mukundananda. More on the author and this version in the description, and also a PDF link if you want to read with us.
Yeah. So before we dive into these teachings, we must prepare our minds once again, as we are seeking to know and understand the most precious wisdom. So we pray to Supreme Lord Krishna, please bless our hearts and our minds and the very essence of our existence, that we might have a little bit of divine grace to be able to comprehend these most precious teachings. Please bless our minds.
Yeah, please bless our minds on the battlefield, surrounded by millions and millions of warriors. Remember, there's like a massive army.
Massive.
And we are in the middle listening to the dialogue of Supreme Lord Krishna talking to Arjuna.
Bhagavan Krishna said, "They speak of an eternal Ashvat tree, with its roots above the branches below. Its leaves are the Vedic hymns, and one who knows the secret of this tree is the knower of the Vedas." The branches of the tree extend upward and downward, nourished by the three gunas, with the objects of the senses as tender buds. The roots of the tree hang downward, causing the flow of karma in the human form. Below its roots branch out, causing karmic actions in the world of humans. The real form of this tree is not perceived in this world, neither its beginning nor end, nor its continued existence. But this deep-rooted Ashvat tree must be cut down with a strong axe of detachment. Then one must search out the base of the tree, which is the Supreme Bhagavan, from whom streamed forth the activity of the universe a long time ago. Upon taking refuge in him, one will not return to this world again. Those who are free from vanity and delusion, who have overcome the evil of attachment, who dwell constantly in the self and Bhagavan, who are freed from the desire to enjoy the senses and are beyond the dualities of pleasure and pain, such liberated personalities attain my eternal abode. Neither the sun nor the moon nor fire can illumine that supreme abode of mine. Having gone there, one does not return to this material world again. The embodied Atmans in this material world are my eternal fragmental parts, but bound by material nature, they are struggling with the six senses, including the mind. As the air carries fragrance from place to place, so does the embodied Atman carry the mind and senses with it when it leaves an old body and enters a new one. Using the sense perceptions of the ears, eyes, skin, tongue, and nose, which are grouped around the mind, the embodied Atman savors the objects of the senses. The ignorant do not perceive the Atman as it resides in the body and as it enjoys sense objects, nor do they perceive it when it departs, but those who possess the eyes of knowledge can behold it. Striving yogis too are able to realize the Atman enshrined in the body. However, those whose minds are not purified cannot cognize it, even though they strive to do so.
I love the image of the Atman enshrined in the body.
So yeah, I see it very much as, the spark, in the heart. So the very center of the heart chakra, so that's to me where I sense it, but, you can sense it, anywhere in the body, I guess. It depends maybe, perhaps which chakra you feel as activated, or which one you're more focused on maybe in spiritual work. But
yeah, personally, I never have a location. It's always full body recognition of the Atman.
Nice.
If that makes sense, I don't know.
Know that I am like the brilliance of the sun that illumines the entire solar system. The radiance of the moon and the brightness of the fire also come from me. Permeating the earth, I nourish all living beings with my energy. Becoming the moon, I nourish all plants with the juice of life. It is I who take the form of the fire of digestion in the stomachs of all living beings, and combine with the incoming and outgoing breaths to digest and assimilate the 4 kinds of foods. So so the Supreme is responsible for, everything going on in the body. In reality, there's an intelligence there and a consciousness that, when you think about what makes up these bodies, I love it when Satguru says that, the first body, the most gross, is the food body. He says it over and over again. It's all made up of food. So what's the divine intelligence that allows that to happen? Like you can eat an apple and an orange and a banana, and whatever else, and then those elements, those particles, they get digested and it turns into energy that the body can use and, maintain this body. And when we grow from babies into adulthoods, it's just the assimilating of all of this food,
I just in the commentary looked up what the 4 kinds of foods are, because I never heard of that before. And the first one includes bread and chapati, everything that is chewed with the teeth. The second one is food that is being swallowed, such as milk and juice. The third one is food that are sucked, such as sugar cane. And the fourth one is food that is being licked, like honey. Interesting.
Very cool. I am seated in the hearts of all living beings, and from me come memory, knowledge, as well as forgetfulness. I alone am to be known by all the Vedas, am the author of the Vedant, and the knower of the meaning of the Vedas, right? So the source of all knowledge, right? And the very goal and purpose of knowledge that I talked about in the previous chapters. So yeah, and I love how, so Sabine is very, very forgetful. So Krishna is the source of that as well,
That's
right?
Beautiful. I feel very blessed. Yeah, he's the veil. He is everything. He's, the forgetfulness. There is divinity in it. It's not separate from God.
So even when we think about that, and we think about how ignorance is really dominant in the world right now, where, it's the veil. And then, but we're choosing it. And so then we're choosing to be identified with, the modes of material nature are operating, and the spark of divinity hasn't come, to get us to seek and get on the path. So Krishna is providing that. If you want to stay ignorant, that's fine, because, Krishna being beyond all existence, but the source of it all, it doesn't matter one way or another whether we evolve spiritually or not, right? Yeah. Everything is what it is.
Perfection.
Yeah. There are 2 kinds of beings in creation. The Kshar, perishable, and the Akshar, imperishable. The perishable are all beings in the material realm. The imperishable are the liberated beings. Wow. Besides these is Sri Hari, who is the indestructible supreme Atman. He enters the 3 worlds as the unchanging controller and supports all living beings.
Sri Hari?
Yeah, I think Hari is another word for Vishnu, perhaps.
Oh.
Yeah, or Krishna, or the, Paramatman, right? So another word for the Supreme. I am transcendental to the perishable world of matter, and even to the imperishable Atman. Hence I am celebrated both in the Vedas and the Smritis as Sri Hari. Oh, okay, so he's clarifying that he is Sri Hari.
That's a Sri Hari, because Sri Hari reminds me like Sri Harry Potter or what? Sri Hari.
So Hari?
Well.
Okay.
Sri Hari.
Sri Hari.
Sri Hari.
Yes. Hey, you guys know me. My pronunciation is horrible a lot of the times, but
Go beyond the words.
Sri Hari. He's always forgiven me. No problem. Those who know me without doubt as Sri Hari truly have complete knowledge, O Arjuna. They worship me with their whole being.
Oh, with their
Absolutely.
whole being.
I have shared this most secret principle of the Vedic scriptures with you, O sinless Arjuna. By understanding this, a person becomes enlightened and fulfills all that is to be accomplished. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, fantastic. So, yeah, knowing about the ultimate and the source, the very light of consciousness within us, the very source of our subjective awareness, the very capacity to know that we exist, right? The capacity to know that we exist is prior to existence. So if it wasn't for that, then we couldn't even say that anything exists, because there would be nothing to know it, right? So that's why they also say that the knower, the knowing, and the known, all of it is Krishna. So fantastic. I loved it, right? The knowledge is just stockpiling, and a little bit of repetition in there, talking about things from previous chapters, just to, get a sense and a feel, because our human delusional ego minds, they're limited, and it's hard to grasp such, divine, incomprehensible wisdom that is, beyond our egoic perception, because we're very dualistic, and we see, the senses and then the objects of the senses, and we're very much on this material level, controlled by the material modes of nature, right? So whatever level you're at, tamas, very much in ignorance, not really seeking any spirituality or liberation, and then rajas is very much, go and get and do and provide and seek, and and that's, you got to be cautious there too, because you can get snared into greed, and thinking money and not concerned. And then even sattva, we got to rise beyond. Even that is, goodness, and loving your family and maybe your neighbors and your country and being of service. But ultimately that is still a mode. So we have to transcend it and seek the liberation. So, the quickest way is understanding these high teachings. And then it begins to get clearer and clearer the more we focus on it with our intention. And that seeking impulse is just so powerful that it's like, okay, I understand. Yes, I am ignorant of, the truth of reality, but I want to know, what happens, when we die. Who am I in reality? Who is God? And that's what the Bhagavad Gita clarifies in such, incredible detail. So it's, it's no wonder Arjuna just opened his heart and his mind, and at the same time had that capacity to, question God. And it's like, okay, Krishna's gonna take a moment for me. I'm gonna ask a ton of questions, and we're so grateful. So let's have a little moment for Arjuna. Talk about bravery and courage and the willingness to being such an incredible man, and just but also understanding his role and his place, and knowing that there's greater wisdom at his disposal, and he opens his heart and his mind. So surrendering his ego in a way to be like, okay, teach me, right? And that's the first step. We have to accept that there's more to learn than what we think we know, and we open our hearts and our minds to that. And because Krishna will never abandon us. He's there right now. He's the very source of us, all of this, right? So so grateful. How you feeling?
I'm bathing in Krishna.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us for this amazing chapter. Please let us know any details and tidbits and anything that we might have overlooked, anything that we maybe didn't touch on as much as we should have. It's just so packed and full of wisdom that, there's so much. So please help us out. Let us know what you think. And remember to hit that like button. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. But if you're this far into the Gita with us, I'm sure you're already subscribed. So thank you so much. And the most important thing of all is to raise yourself
and raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. All glory to the Lord.
Peace.